Hey everyone, welcome to the Saturday Night Live. Sorry it's just a little bit later than usual. I was running around busy doing stuff. After the day I've had and Mrs. Guru's had, we are enjoying a peach white claw. That's what we're drinking because that's what I had out in the fridge. So, cheers to you guys. Hope you're having a good Saturday night. Ooh, that's quite tasty. All right. So, first and foremost, once again, it's a Saturday night, and it looks like we still have Clay because whoever won last week never reached out, so I guess they didn't want Clay, which is fine. So later tonight, before we get off, maybe about 5 minutes before we end the stream, we are going to do another spinning wheel of fate and give Clay away, along with, I'm just grabbing all the little things we've included. We're going to give away a morale patch for Freedom Fries, little French fries. We're going to give away a little sticker, a Abolish the ATF sticker, a Protected by the Second Amendment sticker, and an Invest in Precious Metals by Brass, Copper, and Lead sticker. And of course, I don't want to miss the one sticker. It's got a little mouse on it, and it says to dispatch your local PEDs. That's not what it says. It says something else. I don't want to say it. I don't want to get this whole thing nuked. So that's where we're at. How's your Saturday going? Ours was well, it started off and it was all downhill. It was pretty bad. If you were in class today, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly how my day went and why I was late to class, all that good stuff. And we'll get into it eventually because there's a few things I want to cover first. And we're going to jump right over to it. First and foremost, of course, you know, I'm going to plug the merch store. There we go. And I want to give a special shout out to Amy, who had put in the comments section that she was looking for a very specific shirt. And I said, you know what? It's not offered yet, but if you give me a few, I will build it out. It was a current design. It just wasn't offered in a long sleeve. And went to Bonfire, and I uploaded it. It is called the Unconstitutional State. It's got the Connecticut flag upside down, and at the bottom it says the Unconstitution State. In the front, obviously, is the Gun Guru logo. It is offered in regular t-shirts, sweatshirts, and, of course, long-sleeve women's shirts. So all you gotta do is just click on it. It'll take you there. So on and so forth. It's a great way to support the channel. And of course, like I always say, you know what? You can become a member here on YouTube, Patreon, locals. At the very least, just like the video, share it with everyone you know, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and get all your little 2A friends to subscribe to the channel too. We're going to cover a bunch of good stuff today. If you ever need to get a hold of me outside of YouTube and you need to shoot me an email, a message, and you don't want the world to see it, feel free to go to gunguruactual.com, and there is a little area right here to reach out to me, and it also gives you links for YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, Greyhive, and Odyssey, which are all backups to this main channel. So if it ever gets nuked, goes away, you will be able to find me across certain platforms. Now, if you go to BitChute and Odyssey and Rumble, you're able to scroll all the way back in time and see legacy videos from 4 years ago. If you know where I was, you know those were where the videos were from, and you're not going to find those on YouTube. There's another YouTube channel with me all over it, and you know, maybe next week we'll take a walk down memory lane and we'll go take a look at some of those videos and some of their new ones, which are dog shit, if you ask me. All right. Also, right here, if you need a class, the little link right here for pistol permits is not just for Connecticut. It is for multi-state and a few others. Like if you want to do your New York City permit, so on and so forth, Click that link. It's got nothing to do with me outside of me being the instructor, but it will take you over to Lock and Load, and you'll be able to sign up there via Josh's website. And if you're doing the basic pistol safety course or Utah or anything like that, I will be your instructor. And of course, down at the bottom there is the link for Utah's laws. That's Utah's flag. And everyone that takes the Utah course knows that if you need to read up on the laws of Utah, there you go. That's the link. You click that, and it takes you right to BCI, which they're the ones that govern all the laws for Utah. All right, and it's your job as a Utah permit holder to know the laws. All right, let's get into it. This was sent to me. I did see this, and I thought I'd bring it to you guys. So, 2 Georgia men were arrested in Stamford for a home invasion, and they posed as Amazon delivery workers. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but I think it's really important. What started as what appeared to be a routine package delivery on Monday morning quickly turned into a violent home invasion and left Stamford couple hospitalized. 2 Georgia men were arrested after forcing their way into a home on Dunn Avenue wearing Amazon-style delivery vests, police said. Hayes Edmonds, 24, and Sam Adour, 25, both of Georgia, are now facing charges including home invasion, assault, firearms offenses, and interfering with a 911 call. Bond has been set to $2 million for each suspect. And it goes on to read the article. You can find it on WFSB. But, you know, when I tell people, it's like, yo, when I have someone come to my house knocking on the door for like a delivery, everyone's like, oh my God, you're so paranoid. Because I'm like, yeah, I don't answer the door without a gun. And if somebody random knocks on the door, trust me, we're going to be ready to go. Just because things like this happen. Now, I'm lucky enough to where when I have a UPS delivery, it's usually the same guy who happens to know me. Amazon deliveries are, you know, random people. I'm not as worried when it's an actual Amazon vehicle, but I have received packages in the past from an Amazon driver who's just driving their regular car. And, yeah, I won't exit the house. I like, yeah, go ahead, drop the package right there, take your photo, and be gone. That's it. Once they're gone and they're back in their vehicle, I will step out, grab the package. But, listen, I know when I'm expecting packages because I get alerts. So if some rando is dropping a package off and I'm not expecting anything from Amazon or UPS or anything like that, yeah, I'm going to be a little leery. So, that's just me. I don't know how you do it. I'm not being paranoid. I know things like this happen, and I'm trying to avoid things like this. Thus, be careful out there, guys. But of course, let me know what you want. Get down in the discussion board and put your thoughts in there, guys. All right, let's jump over to this. I saw this yesterday, and I had to laugh. It's from Patriot One News, and it just simply says, Justin, the Black Panthers have returned to stop ICE. This is in Minneapolis. She is, giving a high five to a mystery person because we know she's not doing a Roman salute. That would be, idiotic since Elon Musk does it, and they, go after him every which way in the media, but then you have Mamdani do it in New York City during his inauguration. Nobody cares. And now we have this Black Panther person doing it and nobody cares. Now, the reason I bring it up is they want to take on ICE. And if you look at what they've got right here, this is an M&P 1522. I just thought it was funny. You're out there, you're doing your thing, and you literally have a 22 LR rifle. You ain't doing much with that. I'm sorry. But I have seen more than one photo recently where the Black Panthers or people in Minneapolis literally have 22s. I don't know. At least the dude to her left, or her, well, our left, her right. It looks like he's got a standard AR. I don't know what kind of optic that is. I don't know if it's a hollow sun or something, but you can see they all got ARs. And it's funny because usually blue states like consider ARs to be, you know, a menace to society. You know, they're extremely dangerous and such. Yet there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or so in this photo. And they don't seem to have a problem with it. I don't know what to tell you. I guess they're not that dangerous. I don't know. But that's enough of that. We're not going to make fun of them. And in case you guys didn't see, this one's coming from the Daily Caller. Everybody's favorite senator from Connecticut, Chris Murphy, is wanting to jack up taxes on certain accessories and guns. So January 1st, we know our tax stamps went to 0 for SBRs, SBSs, AOWs, and Whisper Pickles. Okay? Now we know in Connecticut that, just remember guys, this is live, I cannot touch any firearms because it's alive. But I can touch a banana. So, YouTube, cool your jets. This is a banana. That's all it is. It's a banana. Now, this type of banana is specifically illegal in the state of Connecticut because it has a threaded end, a threaded banana end. But if you wanted to, say, purchase a Whisper Pickle, I know it looks really bad. It's, trust me, guys. Right now, the tax stamp on this little bad boy is 0. And Chris Murphy, in his infinite wisdom, I'm just showing you guys, hopefully off camera, that my Whisper Pickle does attach to my banana. There you go. So if you're ever in one of my classes and we hand out the tactical bananas, now you know why I call it a tactical banana. All right, so what's Chris Murphy want to do? Chris Murphy has introduced an amendment to an appropriations bill, and I covered this in a previous video. He is jacking up the tax stamp, which is currently sitting at 0, to $4,709 per item, per transfer, for Whisper Pickles, short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, AOWs. Now, I'd like to say, hey, it's being adjusted for inflation. It kind of is, because if we go back to the 1934 National Firearms Act, the $200 tax stamp was instituted for this. $200 doesn't seem like a lot today, but in 1934, it was an exorbitant amount of money. A lot of people, in fact, most people could not afford it. Thus, it was only the gangsters. Well, fast forward today, it's stayed at $200, and now it's 0. Adjusted for inflation, those $200 from 1934 all the way up to 2025 is pretty close to $5,000. And that is one of the reasons that Chris Murphy is taking it so high. And they break it down. Chris Murphy has proposed a 2,354% increase in the long-standing $200 NFA tax stamp, which is now $0. I don't understand how Chris Murphy keeps getting elected. This guy's insane. Absolutely insane. I'm not going to go to a gun store, an SOT. Nobody is. And they're going to spend, we'll go with a decent suppressor that's not going to break the bank. It's not the cheapest I've seen, but it's not the most expensive. We'll say right around $1,000 for a decent can. On top of that, you have to not, it's still 0, guys, so don't lose your cookies over this. It's just proposed, and, you know, it's not going to go anywhere. I buy a $1,000 suppressor. I then have to turn around and pay Uncle Sam $4,709 for the privilege of purchasing that. And of course, you still have to register it and all that. Now, is this going to go anywhere? No. One, he shoved it into an appropriations bill, which has nothing to do with the bill itself, and it violates the Senate's rules where you can add amendments to an appropriations bill as long as it deals with that bill specifically. It's got to be in that bill's wheelhouse. Shoving a tax on top of suppressors has nothing to do with this particular bill. Thus, he violated it, and it's not going to go anywhere. There is also zero appetite from any Republican on jacking this tax up. And of course, even if they tried and it somehow miraculously went through, Trump would veto that real quick. Now, Congress, they control the purse strings. They're the ones that zeroed it out. And they sent a letter to the DOJ to instruct the ATF that all the items that now have a $0 tax should all be removed from the NFA. That was the point. Because the NFA, the $200 you pay, and that registration was upheld in 1937 because they knew back then that you could not have a gun registry. It was unconstitutional. But the Supreme Court said you can have this registry because the registry was designed to track who paid the tax stamp and who did not. Those items that I have listed to nausea have no tax stamp anymore. It's $0. Thus, there should be no reason to register them with the ATF. Congress sent a letter and said, yo, we purposely meant to have that also removed. These items should be removed from the NFA. And the DOJ, well, they're just dragging their feet. Listen, we're coming up to, in about 3 days, Pam Bondi has been our AG for 1 full year. And I can honestly say I am extremely disappointed in her. Everything I thought was going to happen didn't. Now, I did admit she was not exactly the most 2A friendly AG on planet Earth. In fact, down in Florida, her history with the Second Amendment was pretty questionable, to be, kind. But she's in charge of the DOJ, which runs the ATF, etc. And they haven't done enough. They haven't done anything. I mean, granted, the DOJ did just say one of the laws that's in effect is unconstitutional. They literally just came out and told the judge, yeah, this is unconstitutional. There's no way to reinforce it. Or there's no way to enforce it. Therefore, we should just get rid of it. What are we talking about? Specifically, shipping guns through the USPS. Now, you and I, as regular Joe citizens, we can't do that. We cannot go to the post office and ship a firearm. That's illegal. But if you're an FFL, you can. Which I always find kind of funny when, for a while, we had that stupid law pulled out of thin air where it said you couldn't bring firearms into the post office, yet you could ship them, which made no sense. They couldn't be on you in your waistband, but they could be in a box. So stupid. That was found unconstitutional out west. Really doesn't affect us here in Connecticut, but it is federal property. Thus, unconstitutional out west is unconstitutional everywhere. Again, like I said, a couple of days ago, I was at the post office sending things out, and all their little no firearm signs were gone. So, you do you, boo. I'm not going to say anything, and if you're concealing properly, nobody's going to know it anyways. So, there you go. But, yeah, the DOJ came out and said, yeah, regular people can ship guns through the mail, and it's unconstitutional. So, we're not even going to put up much of a fight on this one. So, we'll see where it goes from there. All right, now let's talk about my day. All right? And just going to switch you back over to me real quick, and just me, and then we'll jump over to the next thing. So this morning I got up at 6 a.m. like I do normally, and Mrs. Guru and I are going about our morning routine, and we're out there chit-chatting, committing ritual seppuku, if you know what that means. And we get a text from our neighbor, and it says, "Hey, so and so just left and wanted to let you know that your door's open on your truck." I was like, "That's weird. I don't leave the door open on my truck." So I run outside in the snow in just slippers and my robe and stuff. And sure as shit, my driver's side door is open on I don't want to say mine. It's our pickup truck. Mrs. Guru and I. We have one vehicle. It's the truck. And the driver's seat, the door, all of it, full of snow. Now, I did not leave it open. No, some hood booger at 3:14 a.m., between 3:14 and 3:20 a.m., decided they were going to open up my truck door. It's our truck, but you get what I'm saying, guys. And rummage and pillage the entire thing. Now, what's in the truck? Nothing. There's nothing of value in that truck. We don't keep stuff of value in there. Look, chapstick, boom boom sticks. That's about it. Some breath mints, some gum. That's it. Nothing. I mean, stuff was everywhere. But the one thing that was missing, I did notice, right out the get-go, was my gun safe. Yes, I had a gun safe underneath the seat. And there's nothing in it. And there's never anything in it because, like I preach in class, you don't store guns in your vehicles. You don't leave them behind in a vehicle because it's stupid. Now, this was tethered down, and they kindly just ripped the whole unit out. Now, we called the police, we explained that, and they were like freaking out when I said, they stole our small little gun safe. And they got really quiet. I was like, it was empty. There's nothing in it. And they're like, oh, okay. That would have been a whole different ball of wax. And I was talking to Mrs. Guru about it. And I said, yeah, there's nothing in it. Obviously, we don't put anything in there. But there is a note inside. And there's a beautiful handwritten note from me to individuals that might have stole it. And when they open it up, it is just going to be a beautifully handwritten note that says, fuck you. Because that's all they're getting. They got an F you from me and Mrs. Guru because, well, we don't keep things like that in safes in the vehicle. Everything always comes in wherever we are, no matter what. So I figured it would be a good time to kind of review some things, including storage and all that. Now, we did... Obviously, we called the cops, and a very, very nice detective came out. He felt bad for us, took our report and all that, and I know there's nothing they can do. We have him on camera, and then we started texting our neighborhood, and we're like, hey, listen, between these times, did you guys get anything on your camera systems? Because most of the people around here in our neighborhood have cameras, because, we just, we watch out for one another. And they start going through and they start pulling footage down, and we can see the vehicle and we can see the people walking around, and it kind of sucks. They did use my driveway at one point to turn their vehicle around when they left. Turns out, we found out later on that one of my other neighbors had his truck broken into, and they literally stole nothing of significance except his little work jacket. That's all they took. They took a work jacket, a high-vis work jacket. I mean, some people, I swear. But then we started seeing posts all over Facebook and different other platforms like Rings, things like that, where these little hood boogers went on a shopping spree throughout the night before the snow came. In fact, I have video of one. This is not my location because I am not showing you guys my camera angles and things like that. But this was from down the road. Now you can see this vehicle right here, which is the same exact vehicle that was in my front. because the rims are very distinct and the shape of the vehicle is very distinct. Now, over here is a pickup truck. And this little blur right here, well, that's our hood booger. And watch. There he goes. Into the vehicle. And off he goes. And then, if you continue to watch, this Mrs. Guru pointed out to me. That's a American cop. That's what I was told. I'm like, that's funny. I don't know if it's a cop or not. It looked like one of the SUVs. I don't know what. But I figured this is a good chance to go over our storage laws here in Connecticut when it comes to firearms inside a vehicle. So we're just going to jump over to this. And this is from the Connecticut Basic Pistol Safety Course that many people have taken with me. Granted, the little thumbnail of me yapping is blocking some of this, but you guys get the gist of it. Vehicle storage. Storing or keeping pistols or revolvers in unintended motor vehicles. Okay? No person shall store or keep any pistol or revolver in any motor vehicle that is unintended unless the pistol or revolver is in a trunk, a locked safe, or a locked glove box. 2. For the purposes of this subsection, a motor vehicle is considered unattended if no person who is at least 21 years of age is inside the vehicle or is within close enough proximity to that motor vehicle to prevent unauthorized access to said motor vehicle. Now, this is Connecticut Public Act 29-38G. So when we go to that, 2938 Golf. It's right here. Storing and keeping a pistol or revolver. Scroll it down for you guys a little bit. In a motor vehicle is prohibited with certain exceptions. And then the part I read you, and then they explain the subsection, so on and so forth. Any pistol or revolver issued and possessed by the Department of Emergency Services, Public Protection, Public Departments, etc., can be left in vehicles, things of that nature. The court may order a suspension of prosecution if the court finds that the violation of this section is not of serious nature and the person charged with such a violation. They're talking about if you are charged with improper storage of your firearm in a vehicle. Like I always tell everybody, do not leave guns in your damn vehicle because it can be broken into and they can take your stuff. In Connecticut specifically, we have laws for that. The trunk thing is very important too because most people assume, like, oh, I drive a car, I have a trunk. Now you gotta look at the definition of a trunk. A trunk is a fully enclosed main storage compartment, not accessible from a passenger compartment. Thus, most people don't have trunks because a pass-through backseat, or if any part of that backseat folds down, legally speaking, by the definition, you don't have a trunk. Thus, you cannot store things in there. This sucks. So, yeah, don't leave your guns in cars. You're going to get in trouble, and they can revoke your permit. And even when I just go straight to Google and I ask them, in the AI overview, in Connecticut, handguns in an unintended vehicle must be in a trunk or a lock. It says it verbatim. Key requirements for the vehicle. It's got to be unloaded and secured. All firearms in a vehicle must generally be unloaded and stored in a locked container or otherwise secured to prevent access from the passenger compartment. That's very important too, especially when we're traveling across state lines. You need to be able to pack that firearm up, unloaded, locked up in an area that is not accessible to the passenger compartment, which is kind of hard to do when most people don't have trunks in cars anymore. When it comes to a pickup truck, it's got to be in the bed of the truck in a locked toolbox or utility box that is attached. That's pretty much all it says. Law does not tell you how to attach it. Get creative. But traveling across state lines, again, we must utilize our trunk in order to cross state lines, like to drive through New York, Massachusetts. If we don't have permits, we don't have a permit that gives us reciprocity, you're supposed to lock it up in an area where you can't get to it from the passenger compartment. And sometimes a little harder than you think. Unattended handguns. If no one is 21 plus or near the vehicle, handguns must be in the trunk, lock safe, which we read. The trunk definition is explained, a locked container alternative. If your vehicle lacks a proper trunk, glove box, a locked separate safe, or box, like a cable lock device, is required for the handgun and is recommended for long guns. Even when you look at the law and it talks about locking it in a safe, it doesn't even tell you that the safe has to be tethered or mounted or any of that. It's got to be in there. Now, when you go to some of these like big box stores like Cabela's, Bass Pro, or even some of our local FFLs, you can get yourself these little Sentry safes for your car. Even if you tether them up, all they need to do is yoink it hard and it's going to pop that tether and your stuff is gone. So don't think that when you put crap in there that it's secure. It's not. Hell, even if you look in the back of a police vehicle, they have got big Gucci safes that usually have their duty rifle and a bunch of equipment. And we saw videos during the week from Minneapolis where people broke in and ripped those right out of the police vehicle. So even their safes aren't guaranteed to keep your stuff safe. In fact, one little turd muffin got caught on camera because he did it with no mask. He stole an FBI duty rifle. Now, it only took a hot minute to catch him. They caught him by the next morning. I mean, literally, he did it with no face covering, and he has this giant Mike Tyson style Latin Kings tattoo on his face. Not hard to find, but hey, don't do stupid stuff. Ammunition. You got to store ammunition separately from a firearm when possible, especially when traveling to ranges. Yep, always. And when transporting permit holders, you can carry a handgun on your person concealed with a permit while driving. Duh. If you leave the vehicle, IG, to drink alcohol, enter a restricted area, you must secure it as per the rules above. Now, the drinking alcohol one is funny because we have no law in Connecticut that prohibits you from actually drinking alcohol while in possession of a firearm. Like, it can be on your person. The only law we do have, it says that you cannot be in possession of your firearm if your blood alcohol level is that of 0.08. Like, you can't drive a vehicle, you can't have your gun. I always tell my classes, hey, you get drunk, you can Uber yourself home, but you can't Uber guns home. You don't call Uber and then give them the gun and be like, just take it back to my house. No, it doesn't work that way. Penalties: violating vehicle storage laws, especially concerning minors per Ethan's law, can result in significant fines, imprisonment, a Class D felony for some violations, and other penalties. I bring this all the way to this because even if you do everything right and your stuff still gets stolen, the town and for sure the state are going to ramrod you every which way to Tuesday to get heavy charges against you. A couple of years ago, there was a military veteran that just came home from deployment, and he was in New Haven. Okay, he had his concealed carry lawfully, and something was going on where he had to remove it from his waistband, and he ended up putting it down in the seat next to him, the passenger seat. He was parked on the streets of New Haven. Somebody saw him put the firearm there. They smashed the window, grabbed his gun, and took off. Now, under Connecticut state law, remember guys, you have 72 hours to report a lost or stolen gun from when you have discovered it to be lost or stolen, or when you are I'm trying to word it right. It's when you discover it lost or stolen, or when you should have discovered it lost or stolen. Now, this individual immediately called 911 and explained what happened and said that he put his gun down, they broke the window, they grabbed his gun, took off. I gave a description, the whole 9 yards, talked about what gun went. And police show up to take his report. And I'm sure you guys understand where this is going. Not only did they revoke his permit on the spot, but then they arrested him under the storage laws. And they charged him with a Class D felony. He ended up going through court. This is years ago, and it was pled down and all that stuff. But they still ruined this kid's life and made it a nightmare because somebody stole his gun and he did everything he was supposed to do, but they still held him like he did something horribly wrong. Now, should he have put his firearm in the passenger seat the way he did? No, I don't recommend that. But should the other individual break the window, steal the gun, and take off? Oh, hells no. But again, the police at this time seemed a little more concerned with the person whose gun was stolen than the actual shithead that stole the gun. And that's the way it works in Connecticut. Because, like Mrs. Guru was saying, in Connecticut, if you are a lawful gun owner with a permit and you sneeze the wrong way, they're all over you like white on rice. But if you're a little hood booger and you're running around breaking into vehicles, stealing people's property, breaking into FFLs, like I've done videos on, and stealing all the contents of said FFL, when you're caught, shame on you, you shouldn't have done it. Because most of the time, the people that are doing it are kids. They're under the age of 18. And we know how Connecticut law works. If you're under the age of 18, you commit some sort of crime like any of what I just mentioned, you are caught, your maximum punishment will be 3 years in juvie, and at the age of 18, your records are expunged, giving you a clean slate. It's like it never even happened. So these people running around, breaking into cars, stealing guns from FFLs, they're all kids. They're just all kids. Now, if you look at what Ned Lamont says, and local mayors, they're like, crime is down. Connecticut's a safe place. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure crime is running rampant. I don't see it going down at all. I see it getting worse. I mean, like, towns are going to shit. Towns that, when I grew up, were really nice and really safe, have literally gone to crap. So I don't know what to tell you. Maybe they're living in bubbles. You know, he's like, oh, no. We have low crime and our towns are great. And he's like looking at, stats from Greenwich versus Bridgeport, Hartford, New Haven, Waterbury. I don't know what to tell you. I think crime is up. That's me. That's what I think. So, all right, we're about 20 minutes out. So I'm going to run through some chats real quick. If you can, get in your super chats. It helps the channel out greatly. And all that good stuff. So, Jojo 8.6 says, hello, Todd. Hope all is well. I see the hood boogers are at it again. Yes, they are. That's why our thumbnail had a broken window. That was not my truck. It was just a straight up stock image. Let's see. Eric Borden, good evening, Todd. Good evening, Eric. Robert Cochran says, hello, everyone. And Eric Borden comes back with cheers. Robert Cochran says, not after tonight. And then we got a good evening. Viking Queen says, good evening. Hello, Viking Queen. As I take a sip of my tasty beverage. John Fox waves. Howdy. Let's see. Mark says, is my PAR rifle in the 2 to 3 legal in Connecticut? I'd have to look that up. I'd have to look it up. Let me see. I got to look at it and I can tell you. Hold on a second. Let's see. More than likely not, sir. No. No. If it's got a fixed mag, yes. Otherwise, no. Especially if it's newer. Now, if it's something you owned prior, you should have registered it, etc. But if you want to make it Connecticut state legal, you literally have to put a fixed magazine into it, just so you know. There are many places that can do it. Lock and Load in Southington can do it. Just so you know. Robert Cochran, so many unmarked cars. Chewing bubble gum. In Connecticut, aren't we supposed to allow home invaders inside? Maybe give them our car keys and ask if they want a cup of coffee. We're not Canada, sir. No. But even if you're awake and you're able to catch said hood boogers rummaging through your vehicle at 3-something a.m., you can't do anything about it. The vehicle and all the contents of that vehicle are property. And in the state of Connecticut, it is 100% illegal to use lethal force to protect property or real property, outside of a trespasser is about to commit arson or some sort of crime of violence. Rummaging through your vehicle, sorry, it's not a crime of violence. If you see this happening, there's nothing you really can do. You can watch through your window, call 911, which, let's be serious, are they really going to show up in a timely manner? You can drink your beautiful little White Claw or your coffee, whatever it is, and you get to watch everything happen, because you can't do squat about it. The way the law works is if you were to unlock your door and leave your castle, your home, to go confront them, technically you have become the aggressor. So if you grab one of your handy dandy little pew-pews and you head out there, that's really bad, guys. You can't do that. Because you go out there with your banana, you go out there with a banana, and they pull their bananas, chaos will ensue. And that's all on you. You're going to get in trouble, a lot of trouble. So I know what you're thinking, Todd, I'll just leave my tactical banana behind. That's great. And you're going to go out there to confront them, and they're going to pull out their tactical bananas, and next thing you know, it's bedlam, right? You're basically just out there flapping in the wind, getting booped. We don't want that. Again, stay inside your home, inside your dwelling. That's what you gotta do. Now, when it comes to making coffee, listen, for home intruders, I'm not making them coffee. If I have a legit home intruder break down my door and they come in, I'm gonna handle it, and I'm making myself some coffee, maybe a sandwich, and then I'll wait for the cops. This is Connecticut, guys. This is not Texas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, or any other free state. You are behind enemy lines, and it's not an iron curtain. It's, I don't know what kind of curtain it is. You guys help me out in the chat. Let me know what kind of curtain we're behind. It's not an iron curtain. I know, we got to come up with a good term. Chewing bubble gum. They are literally wearing plate carriers without plates. Well, yeah, they got to look cool. Listen, I've seen federal agents with AR-500 steel targets inside their plate carriers. Garbage. Louis Torres, hello to all in the Guru family. Hello, Louis. Howdy, sir. Don't forget, guys, here in a bit, we will be doing the spinning wheel of fate for Clay. the Claymore. Now, you're not getting this Clay. That's my Clay. You're going to get a different Clay. He's sitting over there. And Clay does inside, I don't think I've ever showed you guys this. Inside Clay's little packaging, Clay comes with his own sticker, and he comes with like a Pokemon card. And it says, Seymour the Claymore. That's who that is. Birthday is January 18th, 1956, and it goes over, the history of the Claymore. So Clay to Claymore, or Seymour to Claymore, whatever you want. Let's see. Robert Cochran writes, 4 cities in this state control the votes for this clown. Yes, I've said that for eons. It doesn't matter how we vote, because New Haven, Bridgeport, Hartford, and probably Waterbury, one of the larger cities. Doesn't matter. The rest of the state could vote deep, dark red. Those 4 cities alone shift everything blue. And it's always been like that. You go to northern Connecticut, it gets extremely conservative up that way. But if you go to the major cities, they're lunatics. They're left-wing lunatics. Chewing Bubblegum says, Virginia is proposing to turn their state into California as far as gun rights are concerned. Listen, Virginia has gone hardcore blue, and their proposed gun laws, and there's a slew of them, are dystopian. When I lived in Virginia, and Mrs. Guru lived there, and our children were born down there, that's where I was stationed. Virginia was actually a really, really nice state. It was purple, but they weren't insane. The mayor of the town I lived in, when I lived in Virginia Beach, we had Mayor Orbendorf. And she was beloved by the vast majority of people. She was a Democrat. But when the BRAC Commission came through our town and they were talking about shutting down a bunch of our bases, she lost her shit. Like, not going to happen. Mainly because there were a bunch of residents who were wanking about the jets flying over their homes. And she literally came on television and she said, you knew the military worked here. You knew these jets flew overhead when you bought your house. If you don't like it and you don't like the sound of freedom, sell your house and get the hell out of my town. And I was like, good for her. I liked Mayor Orbendorf. She was good. I mean, I didn't agree with everything, but she was pretty good. Jay Foreman, is Clay up for grabs? I'm here if he is. Jay, Clay is up for grabs. He wants a good home. It says front toward friend. He's lonely. He needs to find a home. Lou Torres, I missed the stream. Busy granddaughter duty. Sir, spend time with your grandchildren. Enjoy it while it lasts. The best thing about little ones that aren't yours is you can sugar them up and then give them back. You can teach them all the bad habits. Like how to scream like a dinosaur. May or may not have helped with my nephew. Now he thinks he's a little T-Rex. His dad didn't help either. His dad did the same thing, but yeah. Rob Cochran, glad it was empty. Yeah, listen, I've never, ever put anything in that stupid thing. Ever. Except my little sign that said F you. John Fox gave me some laughy faces. For what? I have no idea. Robert Cochran, yeah, great note. Yep. I thought so. Lou Torres. You do it in the state and I can't bet on it. I have no context. Viking Queen, the comments on the video said that it was a Meriden cop. Roger that. I did see that it was out of Meriden. But at a quick glance at that vehicle, I wasn't sure. I stand corrected if I was wrong. Oh, YouTube just jumped, you bugger. There we go. Louis Torres, Clay is a dud. No, Clay is not a dud. Clay, front toward friend. Clay is your best friend. Chewing Bubblegum says, throw an Apple tag inside your vehicle lockbox. Sir, I never thought of that ever. I mean, I never thought it would be stolen, but I had somebody else recommend that to me. One of my friends. He said, "Hey, you should have a GPS tag on it, and then you could attract it." I was like, "That's a great idea." Mrs. Guru said, "Great idea." I'm like, "Yes, I shall do that next." Lou Torres says he stores his gun on his waist. Me too. I usually carry it at 12 o'clock. Robert Cochran, crime is up, and like you said, a slap, I assume you say wrist. Slap on the wrist, it didn't mean it. Easy on the bad guys, of course. And listen, I've heard the state of Connecticut literally say it's not their fault, they don't know any better. And the reason law-abiding citizens, when they screw up, get hammered so hard is because they generally know better. And, you know, hood boogers be hood boogers because they didn't get the same opportunities law-abiding citizens did. I'm like, that's BS. It's absolute BS. Louis Torres says, you set a flashbang in the safe and give them a surprise. That would be interesting. That'd be fun. Unfortunately, I am certified to buy flashbangs. It is a thermobaric charge. It could hurt somebody. I'm sure you'd get arrested for maiming and a bunch of other stuff. They'd make up stuff. It'd be your fault, no matter what. You know, listen, there's Mrs. Guru was telling me about it. There was a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old stole a car. And they got in a high-speed chase and crashed and died. And the mom literally came out and said, he was just stealing a car. He didn't have to die. I'm like, that's the problem with our society. He just wanted to steal your stuff. He didn't have to die. Doing bad stuff. Oh. Behind the blue curtain. BMAC, behind the blue curtain. I don't know about that. I don't know, blue curtain. I'd have to think on that one. I want something strong that screams communism, like the Iron Curtain. You know, I don't know. We'll have to find something. Eric Boren says, I will make some freedom fries for any home intruders that want to stop by my house. Louis Torres, from Waterbury, question mark. Let's see. Louis Torres, crimes are down, just shit, bullshit. Yes. Louis Torres, no, I'm not from Waterbury. Oh, man, he sounds a little aggressive there. How you insulted him by asking him that. Wrong guy, sorry. Louis Torres says he's in Bristol. Yeah, I just saw Bristol in the news dealing with the pennies and businesses about rounding up, rounding down, while the state was telling businesses they need to round down. Bristol's like, nah, we're going to round up too. I was like, ugh. For cash. I mean, cards are cards, but anything cash. Louis Torres says, but I have a Florida resident and I can buy good tools there, LOL. Yes, and I have a Tennessee residence, and that's why we do that type of stuff. June Bubblegum says, I read that Connecticut brief to the SCOTUS basically just repeated the same talking points every 8 to 10 pages, saying how AWs aren't used for self-defense. Yep, pretty much. Their biggest argument was, hey, listen, you've never, ever accepted one of these cases. Why start with ours? I'm like, that is such a lame argument. That and the state literally came out and said AR-15s are inherently dangerous. Thus, they should be banned. And I'm like, all firearms are dangerous. That's why we treat them with such reverence and respect. And we're careful. And we follow the 4 rules of gun safety. No, the state of Connecticut just wants to take all the cool stuff away. And they're garbage. Absolute garbage. So we'll find out. I heard they are going to... excuse me, listen to the cases, go through the briefs to see if they pick it up for the cert sometime like the 23rd. I'm not sure. So, I'm just texting Mrs. Guru to spin the wheel. We're going to do the spin the wheel. It's that time. Give her a chance to get down into the studio, and we will spin that wonderful wheel to see who can bring home Clay, because I'll ship it straight to you. Once Clay is gone, I've got some other giveaways. I set them aside. I was supposed to give them away before Christmas, and I forgot. I forgot they were even there. And if you're curious what they are, as soon as Mrs. Guru comes down, I'll have her hand them to me. Louis Torres says January 23rd. Yeah, that's what I heard. January 23rd. Robert Cochran says, I hope it goes in our favor. Me too. But wait, we got Grant v. Higgins, we got Nagger v. Lamont, and we've got the Cook County case. So hopefully one of them or all of them get picked up. Maybe they all get crashed together into some giant court case. That'd be awesome. All right, Mrs. Guru is handing me the little spinny wheel. And Mrs. Guru, when you get a chance, right on top of the Smith & Wesson 2A bourbon. So, guys, back here you see I have 2A bourbon. That's normal 2A bourbon. And I have that case of Smith & Wesson limited edition 2A bourbon. We got to get into it. Can you hand me the 2 cases on top of the bourbon? Mrs. Guru is handing to me.
I did add J.F.
Foreman?
Yeah.
Mrs. Guru added J. Foreman.
The one that asked about
That asked for clay. All right, listen. After we give clay away, we will. No, these are for the best. We will offer these up, both of them. This is a handgun cleaning kit, and this is a rifle cleaning kit. The handgun cleaning kit is for a 357, 38, and a 9mm because they're technically all the same size. Handguns, awesome. And then this cleaning kit is for your 223, 556. So we'll put those up for a giveaway. All right, here we go. We got the little spinning wheel of death. Here we go. I touched it. She's a spinning. And why didn't it not go? Hold on a second. There we go. Now it's going. I didn't get a winner. That was weird. Can you fix this? Fix it. I'm apparently allergic to technology. It is not doing its thing. You might want to refresh it. I don't know. Connect it to a different Wi-Fi. Guys, I'm trying. Technology is sometimes not my forte. While Mrs. Guru is dabbling with the technology, let's take a look at our chats. Robert Cochran says, I hope it goes. Our favorite thing, I read that. Let's see. Chewing bubblegum. Coke can, not nails. You fixed it? All right. Let's see. Viking Queen. Mom should have known where the 13-year-old was at 4 in the morning. Completely her fault. Better parenting.
Spun the wheel.
You spun the wheel? Okay. It's funny that I read that last chat. Oh, my God. All right, you guys can't see. But Viking Queen. The Viking Queen won. So Viking Queen needs to reach out, send me an email, shoot me a comment, do something. Thank you, Mrs. Guru. Let me know that you want clay. If you don't want clay, once again, clay will go up next week. If clay does go, we will bid Clay adieu, say farewell to him. He will go off to a good home. And then we will give away our 2 little cleaning kits. And then we'll throw in a bunch of random stickers, things like that. Hand me that.
What?
That, right there. That. No. That. Yes. Should we throw that in?
I don't care.
All right. When we give the cleaning kits away, we've got a beer koozie. It says 9 Line on one side. Not endorsed by 9 Line, guys, but the other side is the best. It says, have the day you deserve. That's pretty cool. We'll throw that in. Maybe. All right. That is it. It is 2000, a little past. We ran over. Guys, go forth. Spend time with your family, your spouses, your children, your grandchildren. Make sure your cars are locked. That's my PSA. Make sure your cars are locked. Don't store guns in your car. Don't do that. That's bad. And I will see all of you guys in the next video. Go. Enjoy. Spend time with your family. Stop watching
I
this.
do have to say though, between chewing bubblegum, the AirTag, and Lewis, I kind of like the flashbangs.
Mrs. Guru likes the flashbang idea, guys. All right. That's all I got for you guys. Corrupt curtain. Chewing bubblegum. I like that. The corrupt curtain. All right. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Go. Enjoy your evening. I will chat with you all later.